Right, let's into this now. The DA will submit a complaint against Transport Minister Sindisiwe Chikunga with the Ethics Committee following last week's violent taxi strike. She accused the city of Cape Town of using incorrect bylaws to impound 6,000 taxis since the start of the year and ordered their immediate release. Parliament's Portfolio Committee on Transport chairperson Mina Lesoma joins us now for some clarity. Chairperson, good to have you, and thank you very much for your time. I'm sure over the 7 days when the action was on, you were watching that carefully as lawmakers. There was a back and forth around the NLA and the National Road Traffic Act, which is really at the heart of what then the minister said were unlawful impoundments, and that is the matter at hand, which will be taken to the Ethics Committee. But from the lawmakers' point of view, do we need legal clarity on how the NLA has been used in the Western Cape, in the city of Cape Town, in particular, in the impounding of vehicles?
Good evening, Thabo, and the Africa Newzroom listeners or viewers. Let's appreciate the opportunity that you have given us. And to say that as the lawmakers, as you are correctly, our hands and our bodies were tied on the seats watching to see whether at what stage this unfortunate situation of the taxi industry and the city of Cape Town standoff is going to end. Notwithstanding that, we were just waiting for that, but we were hoping, having a confidence to the minister and the lawmakers and the city of Cape Town that they will, with speed, resolve the issue. And we must send our condolences to the families once more again, for those ones who have lost their lives, to say condolences. As correctly, we are lawmakers in terms of the Road Traffic Act. The Act gives a foundation for these municipalities to have their own bylaws. The bylaws that are implemented they derive from the Act, of course, but they have got their own bylaws, which doesn't necessarily mean that they're identical with other cities or other municipalities, as it were. So one would say that hopefully in the immediate future, the city of Cape Town will approach Parliament, whether they use the vehicle of the National Council of Provinces or ourselves directly as the National Parliament or National Assembly, so to speak, to say which clauses that needs to be amended that causes air friction or a tension when they get implemented through their bylaws. But I must say that what has come very clearly for us from where I'm seated is that the city of Cape Town, the mere fact that the taxi industry seems not to be fully aware at what stage has the bylaws been amended. It questions then or suggests that the city of Cape Town must look at its own processes and vehicles that they use when they do their community participation programs, whether it's evaluating or reviewing their bylaws or taking budget to the people, whatever form of vehicles in their city when they
So Chairperson, just for clarity, Chairperson, you're saying it's partly true that the city is using the National Land Transport Act in the empowerment
as a foundation, as a base. Yes. So, which means what I'm saying to you and the viewers is that if then what you are saying is what the city of Cape Town is saying, that they are implementing the act, they are a little bit economical with the actual processes and what tools do they really use. Hence, for me, I'm saying as one of the lawmakers, we are looking forward for the city of Cape Town to approach the lawmakers, which is Parliament, whether they use the NCOP, which is National Council of Provinces, or directly through their members or through any other person or themselves as a city, because we do have a cordial relationship with the city of Cape Town.
So as the lawmakers,
these are the clauses that
what did you imagine? Because Santaco's understanding is that there are 4 areas, right? When you are operating without an operating license, which is what is articulated in the Act, when the operator is without a driver's license, when the vehicle is not roadworthy, right?
Yeah.
So tell me, where does the deviation come in?
No, but Angithi Thabo, when we are talking about the licensing and the related matters, that's the law.
Right.
So everybody should be compliant, because we must register that. We are not saying that the taxi industry must be the law to themselves.
Right.
But we are saying that if they are the bylaws to amend the act, which becomes the bill at the time, it takes time. It cannot then be implemented because that act hasn't been reviewed as yet. So what I'm saying to you and the viewers is that the City of Cape Town, they are using their own city bylaws. And I'm saying, having been informed by the Act, they must come to us to say where are the tensions and which clauses that derive to say what makes the tension it is. Because one of the issues is the licensing, the permit, or whether the breaking of the rules of the road and so forth and so forth. What I was trying to get also from the City of Cape Town to say, what is the actual agreement that they've agreed upon with the taxi industry? What I've managed to get, one is that they are going to discuss which serious road offences and those ones that warrants the vehicles to be
impounded.
Pounded.
Yes.
And two, which ones are those that they will term for a special dispensation so that they normalize the situation or the taxi industry operation. Which ones are those ones that they will have a special dispensation?
Yeah.
As you would have heard that even today they were alleging that the City of Cape Town is continuing also to pound their vehicles.
Right.
And I'm saying if that's truth, which means the City of Cape Town, when it was negotiating with the taxi industry, was in that negotiations in bad faith, so to speak, from where I'm standing. I'm not intimate with the issues.
So the Democratic Alliance says, no, you first they'll go to the Ethics Committee, but you as a Portfolio Committee on Transport need to hold the Minister of Transport to come and account for the statements which she made. They're saying she was wrong to say they were using the wrong laws to impound those taxis.
Okay, the problem is I'm engaging with you as the chairperson of the Portfolio of Transport.
Yeah.
And then I would not really want to enter to the politics, because if you are saying DA, then that's a political party. But if you are saying the City of Cape Town, then we can have an engagement on that.
Well, they're saying they're going to write to you.
Let me continue, Thabo.
They're going to write to you. I don't know if they have already.
Let me continue, Thabo. Last week when I was engaging with the media, even the press statement, which fortunately by Thursday this week, which is the 17th, at 9:30, we are going to have receiving a presentation from the department, which is led by the minister, which they are going to tell us what processes, what are the really issues that make the taxi industry to embark on the strike, which has also disrupted the communities of the Cape Town.
Yeah.
Two is that what are the long terms that they foresee as a mitigating factors or programs that will ensure that we don't find the repeat. Three, it's what are the agreements that have been entered by the City of Cape Town and the taxi industry, and also how are they going to ensure those commitments are fulfilled by both parties, as it were. So I'm saying to you, the minister is going to appear to us on Thursday. We don't need a letter from the City of Cape Town or from the DA.
Right.
But the issue of the Ethics Committee, that one are most welcome to write to the Ethics Committee. And I don't think I need to comment on that one.
No, I'm not asking you to do that. But here's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to comment on whether or not, as the Portfolio Committee, let me not bring the parties in, as the Portfolio Committee, to whom the executive accounts, right, do you find fault with the statements that were made by the minister around the application of the National Land Transport?
I'm saying to you, Thabo, and the listeners, respectively so, I'm saying the minister, we have invited the minister on Thursday, should appear before the committee, and one of the things that would like here to take us to confidence is the statements that we are saying. me and you were not there. We only had the side of the DA. So I think it's fair enough for us to allow the minister also to add on her input to say, what is your take? What did you imply? Did you say this? Or it was more of a suitcase statement that you made? What did you meant about that? And what are the implications of that? Is us as the committee, then we will make that determination.
Right.
Having listened to the minister,
right.
I think it's fair.
So the taxi industry says they want to approach the courts, as opposed to interdict the impounding of vehicles. That's one story. But the other story that we need to maybe talk about, do you think Parliament would benefit from this matter going to courts so that we get clarity on how the tensions can be resolved between what, as you're putting it, the National Land Transport Act is saying and how the city then interprets it via its bylaws and the agreements that it puts in place with various industries?
I think the taxi industry, they are at liberty to do what they think that is in their best interest. But I will say that it will also give us a clarity. But we wouldn't like the courts to determine how do we craft the laws, as it were. But if there's tension between the implementers and those ones who are at the receiving end, I think that's the best option, and it will help all of us throughout the country, not necessarily the city of Cape Town. But we wouldn't, because the Land Transport Act wouldn't have been an act if it had some issues in terms of whether it conflicts with the Constitution or it's outside the Constitution, as it were. But nevertheless, we'll take it when it comes. We can't preempt what the court, because they're still promising for now, and they are most welcome to do what is best for their industry.
Do you think this then therefore sets precedents for other municipalities to then also apply the Act as they see fit, and they could be doing impoundments for completely different reasons to what is happening in the city of Cape Town? And that inconsistency in the application of the law, does it not create a problem for the nation?
I wouldn't say so, because probably the question that we should be asking, why other cities are not implementing their bylaws as similar as the city of Cape Town? So those are the things that we must ask. But also, how far do they stretch their bylaws, and how far does the city of Cape Town? As I'm talking to you, I haven't done those comparisons. I think it's very interesting that we should, as the committee, probably as one of our tasks, that will hand over to the new administration to say they must look at that. But there is a committee which needs to deal with that, which will assist us. The COCTA committee that will assist, which deals directly with local government. Probably we might also, if we engage at the committee, because I think we must do that exercise so that we are fair. Because even last week I was saying that probably the tension that has been caused emanating from the Land Transport Act through the bylaws of the city of Cape Town, it should be a study for other municipalities so that we avoid such occurrences as well. So we might use that one as one of the templates that we say, how do we harmonize the relationship between the taxi industry and the bylaws implemented by the cities or the municipalities, as it were.
Chairperson, I appreciate your time.
I would say that because the bylaws, the act that they are using is used by all municipalities. And then the gist then, or the taste, is the application of the bylaws. And why do they differ as well? Because we must understand, because the licensing and all that is across the board, is the same. It's using the same act. Right.
Appreciate your time, Chairperson. Thank you very much for your intervention and that clarity there. Parliament's Portfolio Committee Chairperson on Transport, Mina Lesoma. Right.